Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's the match review for West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 0. Some might say West Ham were lucky. I'm Gio from Hammers Chat. You're ready to find out if I think we were lucky, if Charlie thinks we were lucky, and if Gonzo thinks we were lucky, as we all try to talk a good game. Well, Gonzo, let's start from the start. Villa had a bright start. 10 minutes in or so, they had a massive claim for handball. Was that a penalty in your eyes and why?
Yes, I think it was, but we had a couple of shouts against Liverpool, didn't we? So, I hate the cliches really, but I guess as they always say, they even themselves out. So, yes, it was a pen, but there you go. Such is life. They've got no luck at the moment. We've got lots. Tough.
Charlie, do you agree with that? Would you have pointed to the spot if you were Jonathan Moss?
No, I think he was too close to it to do anything about it. He sort of jumps in a. I mean, he's jumping, but it was quite natural. He wasn't like running about with his hands in the air. His arm was just back a bit. Um,
Well, his arm was in the air, though. Oh, granted, it wasn't above his head, but it was still out in mid-air.
yeah, but it was out in mid. Like if you jump and you push your leg out, then your hand naturally goes backwards, right? Because your body is the way the momentum works. Is your hand goes backwards. If he's putting his hand backwards to try and block the ball from going into the box, then that's unbelievably lucky that it's hit his hand, and it's from about a couple of yards away, if that. It's too close to me. I understand people won't agree with me, but I don't think it was a penalty.
Yeah, I don't normally sit on the fence, but I am with this one. I can see both points of view. I would have been pissed off if West Ham never got that as a penalty, but I'd be pissed off if that was given as a penalty for Aston Villa. So swings and roundabouts, I suppose. Gonzo, we started slow again. We've been doing it quite a lot. I'm tempted to say all season. We've started slow a lot of games apart from the big teams. Why?
I've told you this. I've told you my theory. Okay. Bilic, he does not bother scouting the opposition. So what happens is the scouts say, Gaffer, do you want us to go and have a look at Aston Villa who we're playing on Tuesday? He says, no, don't worry about it. I'll have a look in the first half and I'll change it all at half time. And that's basically what he does. But you know what? That's fine because we had our last manager, Allardyce, used to do all the stats on everyone, used to pro-zone everybody up, and he still didn't have a clue and lost all the time. So he just seems to be a second half manager, Bilic.
Well, it's a risky strategy anyway, and it's going to backfire on us one day if he doesn't get out and start scouting. Charlie, what was Ayew doing? What was he doing?
Oh, he was attacking Aaron Cresswell. Is what he was doing. Like they were jostling for position, and clearly he was just before that as well. You could see him swinging his arms about, getting clearly annoyed by. I don't know. Maybe Aaron Cresswell was saying something to him. I don't know. But he waited, and you could see, if you watch the replay, he waits right until the throw-in happens. As the second the ball leaves his hand and he thinks the ref's not looking at him, he just goes for him. It's the most obvious elbow I have ever seen in my life.
Charlie, has he, in that moment of madness, although he doesn't look that mad, has he just confirmed the relegation? It looked like they were going down anyway, but has he pretty much just put the final nail in the coffin for his club tonight?
He certainly made it a hell of a lot harder for them. I feel amazingly so. When he walked off the pitch, Ayew, Bilic shook his hand and sort of gave him a sort of, well, you win some, you lose some sort of thing. And Remy Gard just completely ignored him. And you have to feel sorry for him because he's put this team out to try and fight a victory, and he's been thrown away by a moment of anger.
Gonzo, you talked about Bilic's tactics in your head, that he doesn't scout or that, but a completely different West Ham again in the second half. But why do we have to wait until halftime? Not just for Bilic didn't actually change anything tactically, I don't think. The players just started playing with more urgency, I think. In the second half, I just think the players started going more direct, faster pace of football. The urgency was there. Noble and Sommer were looking for diagonal balls to the wingers instead of just passing between each other and going to James Collins to have a shot from 40 yards. Why?
Well, of course, I jest when I say that he doesn't send scouts out. I'm sure they all do. But maybe he definitely seems to be a reactive manager rather than a proactive manager. And again, that's fine as long as we're winning and we're up high in the league, which we are. I just think perhaps he starts really calmly and maybe sends the lads out and says, look, remember what we've done in training. You mark him, try and get down the channels, and it doesn't work. And he gets in at half time, reads them the riot act, throws some teacups, punches the wall or something, and says, right, that's it, get out there. And they all think, oh my goodness, we've annoyed the gaffer, and they all have a bit of urgency and play better. I don't know.
Well, I think we might struggle on Saturday if we start that early, slowly. But we strolled through the second half, made it 2-0. Valencia finally did something productive, managed to complete a successful pass for the first time this season, put Kayate 1-on-1. He finished it. Charlie, were we lucky tonight? Were we lucky that Ayew was silly? Were we lucky that Villa's first 10 minutes, they didn't really create anything, even though they were a better side? Were we? Because let's face it, we were nowhere near top gear tonight. We were able to stroll through the second half.
Yes, but we also wouldn't have struggled to break them down as much as we would have if they had 11 men on the field and felt like they had the capacity to attack. Because let's be honest, in that entire first half, they had 2 shots, I think, in the entire first half, and one of them was on target, and they just didn't look like they were even going to consider going forward unless it was the most obvious counter-attacking opportunity you will ever see. So were we lucky? I guess, yeah, you could say we were, but we were also unlucky in the way that they sat back like any team would with 10 men. And so, were we lucky? Yeah, kind of, but those sort of things just have to happen.
Well, we'll talk about one player in particular in a second, but if you guys are watching, if you agree or disagree with either me, Charlie, or Gonzo, let us know in the comments below. Gonzo, let's talk about our captain, Martin Noble, for his tackling. Could he have picked up about 4 yellow cards tonight, do you think? He got his booking in the end, but he's 20. He's kicking on a bit now. He's in his late 20s. Why has he not ironed these stupid challenges out of his career yet?
Well, if he's kicking on a bit, I'm ready for the coffee, quite frankly. Yeah, I mean, he's a card waiting to happen, isn't he, Noble? But I don't want to focus on it. He could actually. He probably should have been sent off today, in all honesty. But what a great game he had! I think on the forum I called him the Upton Park Iniesta or something at one point during the second half. I thought it was brilliant stuff. That was possibly his best game of the season.
Well, I thought he was quiet in the first half. I'm a big Noble fan. I was quite disappointed by him in the first half, but I think that's just because the way him, Song, Reid and Collins were playing. They were almost playing in a square between the 4 of them. But they just struggled, like Charlie said, they just struggled to get it to Payet and that because their just option wasn't there. Big question for these two in a second, but do remember to subscribe while you watch this. If you're watching it embedded on the forum or on claret&hugh.info, there's a wee YouTube button on the bottom right. Click that, it'll come up to YouTube and hit the subscribe button while you're there, because we'll be back later in the week with the Southampton preview. We're live at half time with this from the Southampton game, and we've got the Southampton review. We've got lots of content coming for you. Big question for you two though. It's the same as always, man of match time. Charlie, who's your man of match for West Ham tonight?
Mark Noble. That second half was on another level. He hasn't played that well in a half the entire series. I agree with you that he had a bad first half, but that second half was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Gonzo, I take it that's your answer as well, is it?
Well, yeah, I think Noble gets the bottle of bubbly, but I'd probably pour a glass of champers out for Antonio as well,
I'm going to go different to you two. I'm going to give it to James Tompkins. I thought he was brilliant throughout. He's playing out of position. The first half, he was actually our main threat. He was the one that actually looked like he was up for it in the first half. He keeps going. He keeps trying to put the crosses in. One of the crosses of the second half was what I expected from a right winger with outside of his foot, and he just smashed it in low and hard. I thought he was brilliant. Anyway, we've been hammerschat.com. If you've missed the game and you want to read about it, go on to claret&hugh.info for the detailed match report, and come on to our forum at hammerschat.boards.net to interact with your fellow fans. On Monday, the 8th of February, we will be at Stratford in the afternoon recording, and we want you guys to come along and join in with us. Give us your view on anything, whether it's a season so far. It could be Bilic, but primarily we're going to be talking about the big move we're doing in the summer, so do pop along. In order to set up, just come onto the forum, contact anyone of us on the forum, or at hammers_chat on facebook.com/hammerschat. Just let us know and we'll tell you where and when to be there, and we'll see you there hopefully. We've been Hammers Chat. Charlie, Gonzo, Gio, good night.